أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I just had most amazing, ineffable hydrotherapy session. The, I'm very, very big on words. And the ocean in English, I guess it's English, we call it the Pacific. And the root word is peace. Peace, peace, peace. So if you live anywhere, I would say within an hour, maybe even two, because when you go to the beach, it's such an important to your mental health, your physical health, spiritual, maybe even financial, because if all that is right, then your finances, if they're not right, you won't be so worried about them. That's what's really important, your perspective. And when you hydrotherapy, all I did was float and look up at the clouds and listen to the water. But I was just floating, and then I said, okay, I'm really going to try to make the most of this therapy. So I start with my shoulders, because usually when a person is stressed out, you can see it in their shoulders. They're like, So I said, I'm gonna relax my shoulders. And then I did my neck, and then I kind of like just try to relax my whole body. And I experimented with placing my arms. It's easier I think you feel more safe and more secure with your arms spread out. And I like the way frogs swim. So whenever I swim, I'm like, I'm not doing all that. I don't know. I think that's for speed racing. But if you want to just like exercise, you do like the frog kick with your arms and your legs. And so I did that a little bit. But I also put my arms straight up. I did like centipede type movements, and eventually I put my hands behind my head and completely relaxed my head and my whole body. I'm just it's awesome. People are. This one lady has a camera set up, and Muslims are not supposed to be recorded, filmed, or nothing. We're supposed to go like this, so you can't even see us. So I'm like, get the clouds, you know what I mean? It's so, look, I can't turn it, but see the clouds? And I'm like this, and see how they're moving and stuff? So I'm floating on the water looking up at this. And not too long ago, I said, just lay on the grass and look up at the clouds. You know what I mean? If you're not near some water, because you could probably in a lake, a river, whatever, just get some hydrotherapy when you're in the womb, which, from what I'm told, is like the most comforting place ever. But you're surrounded by water, so if you could get in some water, get in a bathtub, and just this is what I used to do. And I think what they do in Japan, take a shower first and get all clean and everything, and then run some bath water, dim the lights, light a candle, put some bubble aromatherapy, lavender incense or something, and some bird singing, or some flute, or some mellow jazz. I'm trying to think what's like. I think like Naima or Blue and Green, something where the drummer is using brushes, and get some hydrotherapy. I'm like, maybe because my age or whatever, but I'm like totally into therapy. And I'm also studying traditional Chinese methods of, they call it Zen, and Tao, and these terms that are used, but the goal of everything is to attain peace, right? But Islam, that is what the word means in Arabic, salam. So I'm like, that's, the ultimate, the final, you know, Islam, that's the name of it. Hindu, I'm not really sure what it means, but that's what Buddhism is. Buddha was the prophet for Hinduism, which is like really, really popular right now. And I'm like, as long as you don't mess with me, I'm not gonna mess with you. You know what I mean? Just be peaceful, and you're telling me how peaceful you are for 30 minutes is infringing on my peace. I'm not interested. If you're really at peace, go be at peace. Why are you trying to convince yourself that you're at peace? Because I know you're not at peace. You're trying too hard. Peaceful people live it. You don't have to tell me. I can see it. But today is Tai Chi Day. So, while I wait for my clothes to dry, you want to see my bathing suit, my swimming suit, my hydrotherapy suit? The cable was a problem for a minute, and the water kept wrapping around my arms. But eventually, I tucked it into my skirt, and I was good. But yeah, go to the beach, get hydrotherapy every 3 months. Go with the change of season. Go to the beach, and it could have a lot to do with the weather. If it's really windy, because sometimes I'm like, I can't get in the ocean today. The ocean is 68,634,000 square miles of water. That's a lot of power. So when the wind starts getting involved, you don't want to risk it. So be careful. If the conditions are right, just look, lay on the sand. The sand is awesome. Let the sand get in your toes, and put on some shades, because if it's wind, the sand will get in your eyes. And I've really seen the wind empty the beach. It could be a whole lot of people on the beach, but when it gets windy, is too much. You can't take it. That everybody's umbrellas start flying, and it's sand in your face and your nose and your mouth everywhere, and is too much. So everybody leaves. You know, but it's cool for me. I put on my shades and enjoy the beach to myself. So, but yeah, hydrotherapy is another therapy. Tao means is shoe, which means writing, shoe, or show, and it's a way of attaining peace. If you notice, well, I don't know, but if you paint or if you're an artist, my usual medium is like ink pens. I started with color glitter ink pens, and the thing, a lot of people use markers, but it's a good form to create. And if you notice, Parliament Funkadelic artist, his medium was ink for all their albums. I went to a museum and it showcased his art. That's how I know his preferred medium was ink pen, regular ink pen. Probably started in school. I really don't care about what you're trying to teach me. This is kind of mixed media. I use color pencils, ink, also paint. The sky is paint. The ocean and the sand are pencil, and everything else is ink. Yeah, she can see it. I can't see, but yeah, I can see it like that. And this one, it's no paint in it. It's marker. The black part is marker, but the rest is ink and pencil. But if you paint, you have to get water, and water is next to air, something you can't live without. So um, I don't know, being here, the scarcity of fresh water is unbelievable. They keep saying we're in a drought, but I believe it's intentional. The ruling class tell the scientists, let's withhold the water, and it's really sad because it was a concerted effort. I remember you want some water, you go to the sink and get some water. Then I go to my friend's house and they have an arrowhead water thing. This man comes and puts this big heavy water, and the water was disgusting. Oh, they had sparklets. And I'm like, I don't know what this is, but it doesn't taste as good as the sink. It's a prestige type of thing. Oh, we get our water in this, and you go to this little dispenser, and maybe the convenience because it's hot or cold. Some of them, but then you started having to buy water. The water in your sink is not. I still prefer tap water. I'll take the tap water, put it in the refrigerator if I want it cold. The ice comes from the tap, and from what I've seen on TV, it could depend on where you live. When you buy or choose an apartment, you check the water, you know, or someone else's. If yours isn't on, you go, can I see what the water looks like in this building, you know. But yeah, so water, 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 water. And that's all I did, just float. All these people got wind surfing and even surfing. Surfing is fun. Be I don't know. To me, it's like flying. It feels like flying. What I imagine flying would feel like on a board, but just floating in the water was, and being in the water and getting a little exercise was unexplainable. So if you live near a beach, and beach is like something that people do where you live, and you need to go. If you have a river or a lake, go. You know, it's a little bit different because those have mud on the bottom, and is the first time I got in the Mississippi, I was like, ew, yuck. And I only got in because I saw this man in it, and I was like, let me see it, but it was mud, and I was like, nah, it's not for me. And then they had the Lake Pontchartrain, and I might have put my feet in it, but where I was, it was like rocks, and it was like stacked up rocks. Like they had stopped the river with the rocks or something, and I couldn't really get in it. And but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think there's a beach somewhere around New Orleans or Mississippi or somewhere you could get to within a couple hours. You know, get in the bathtub, take a shower first, and sit in the tub. All right, hasta la buena, kung wala ka to allow